is she back on tour? She's a champion again. Yeah! The legend. Here's Shannon O'Keefe. Incredible. What a moment for Shannon O'Keefe.
PWBA athletes, please hold up on your warm-up. Hold up on your warm-up. No more deliveries at this time. As a reminder to our bowling fans that flash photography and the signing of autographs is strictly prohibited during competition. In addition, we kindly ask that you silence those cell phones to prevent any distractions to the athletes. This week, the field of play is at the bottom of the stairs, and this belongs to the athletes and authorized personnel only. Please do not enter the field of play for any reason. PWBA qualifying rounds can be seen for free on Bowl TV. Please let all your friends and family know where they can watch the best women bowlers in the world. All right, athletes, press the red key on your console, reset for a full set of pins. Bowling fans, how about a great send-off for round 3 of the BowlerX.com PWBA Twin Cities Open. Good luck, ladies.
And the sounds of bowling balls hitting the pins always does something to me bright and early in the morning as we welcome you to the BowlerX.com PWBA Twin Cities Open. This is the round of 12. After this round, we will narrow down this field to 5 players, and those 5 players, the top 5, will move on to the live CBS Sports Network TV finals this afternoon/evening, 4 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. Eastern Time, again on CBS Sports Network. Emil Williams Jr. with Phil Brylow here this morning. It's a fantastic time to be a bowling fan. It's National Bowling Day as well, and what better way to be and to celebrate National Bowling Day, Phil, than to watch 6 games, the 12 of the best women in the world who will later on compete for a title.
Watching us here on Bowl TV. As soon as this round is done, go to gobowling.com, get your coupon for a free game of bowling. Get that game, get 3 games in, and then come back and either stay at the bowling center, watch on CBS Sports Network, or head back home and watch those live finals from here at Cedar Vale Lanes at 5 p.m. Eastern Time for our top 5. After this round of 12 qualifying is complete.
Right now, of course, our featured pairs remain 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, and 26. Right now, we are watching 25 and 26. This is Brianna Cote. And 4-6 there for Cote after the early strike. She will be joined all day with Birgit Poplar 21 and 22. Your tournament leader, Liz Kuhlkin. Crossing with Missy Parkin. Of course, Missy, if you watched the bonus bowling last night after the completion of regulation, if you will, of the round of 32, there was a tie for the 12th qualifying position between Missy and Sydney Brummett. Missy Parkin defeated Sydney in a one-game roll-off, 201 to 184 to advance to this morning's competition.
Yeah, Parkin struggled on lane 24 on the right lane, but she caught a break in the 9th frame. The crossover strike, and then just took full advantage of that on lane 23, pounded a double. Forced Brummett to match with a double of her own, but Brummett weak 10 first ball of the 10th frame. And Missy Parkin has a lot of ground to cover up in a short period of time. 98 pins behind number 5, Danielle McEwen. So Missy's got to keep a pretty flawless score sheet today and hope some of her opponents put up some open frames, because we know that stringing strikes on this tough condition doesn't happen much early. And with fewer bowlers on the pair as well today, with just having 2 per pair instead of 4, some of the bowlers may go with a little more aggressive equipment early. The thing is, can they break down the pattern as quick as they did yesterday? Probably not, with just the 2 on a pair.
2 on a pair, 2 less games. It's going to go by pretty quick. This morning generally is kind of always more of a sprint. But depending on where you are in the standings, it could feel like more of a marathon in a sense as well, because sometimes you just may not have enough, obviously, to make a run, but you're trying to continue to learn and perform and do what you can. And hey, you never know if you're someone in Liz Kuhlkin's position, obviously doing more of the same things. But of course, we talked a little bit about risk reward, for example. 9 spare would probably be okay today for Liz in the position that she's in. Obviously would want to continue to maintain the number 1 position, but got a really decent opportunity, good look at from the distance between her and 6th place at the moment.
Well, Liz, even a 66-pin cushion right now over Rocio Restrepo. That can go away in a couple of games, but 170 pins over 5th place Danielle McEwen and 175 pins over 6th place Shannon O'Keefe. That might give Liz a little bit of freedom later in the round to possibly experiment with a different piece of equipment. And after several glances back and forth at each other, Liz will take the lead here on the approach.
Talked about the confidence level for Liz Kuhlkin. Got the swag. Here's Josie Barnes. She'll be traveling with Rocio Restrepo for 6 games today. Josie has the tournament's only 300 game to this point. As you see a strike there from Barnes. Husband Kyle is in attendance to give you early fans who are watching a little bit of a nice love story, if you will. Josie and Kyle first met in this very bowling center. I forgot how many years ago. I want to say 2007, I believe, maybe 2010. But they bowled at the time the largest high school event. North Point, sponsored by North Point back then, and I believe they both won their respective divisions. And
here's something we're not stopping too often for. There's a large insect down on lanes 29 and 30, and
fantastic.
Tania Milligan's she wants a piece of that bug, and it's out on the lane. It's caught up in the oil. Now it just flew away. Yeah, and it's one of the cicadas. Now it's coming across our cameras here. Either that or our buddy Marty got really big from last night. We're going to see Chris Schlemmer coming across here. It went way to the left, Chris. I think you scared it off. If I saw Chris Schlemmer coming at me and I was that small, I would be scared off too. It's heading for the TV set. It wants a good seat for the show today.
What an interesting start to the morning.
It's when I hear Liz Johnson hollering bug, bug. Yeah, that's.
Well, all right.
We know she's not an insect fan. We know she didn't want to grow up to be an entomologist in any way, shape, or form.
All right, thanks, Schlim. Appreciate that assist. Bowling has resumed. Well, this left lane for Cote so far not kind. 2 splits now on lane 25.
Cote giving it a run. That's not going to get into the 7-pin zone. And the alternating strikes and open early. The bowler qualified after 16 games in 3rd place.
Quick recap on the standings. And all of those are located in the event description. Round 2, round 1. Of course, your pairing sheet for today. And if you're curious about oh, that's all we have. Okay, I got you covered. I surprise myself sometimes. All right, there's Burgett. So from 1 through 12 right now is Liz Kuhlkin at plus 350. Rocio Restrepo at plus 284 is second. Brianna Cote is third at plus 191. Erin McCarthy fourth at plus 184. Danielle McEwen fifth at plus 180. Again, we're cutting to the top 5 for the finals tonight. Shannon O'Keefe is sixth at plus 175. Jordan Richard is seventh at plus 160. Liz Johnson is eighth at plus 152. Stephanie Johnson is ninth at plus 150. Birgit Poplar 10th at plus 145. Josie Barnes is 11th at plus 141. And Missy Parkin is plus 82. If you're looking at the results from yesterday, it'll say plus 83, but we know that, and it's plus 82. But talked to Phil yesterday when we heard the number entering the roll-off, and just very surprised at the amount of pins between 11th and 12th.
Yeah, that's very rare where you get a 60-pin gap, especially after 16 games. I can maybe see that after 60 games, not 16. And yeah, very unusual. And if you look past that and look how close the bowlers from 13th back through 16th were. They were all within, changing up from a couple of missed makeables, and they could have found themselves bowling this morning on National Bowling Day.
Absolutely. Great bowling for everyone. Of course, for those who advanced from the PTQ on Thursday to get to the elite field, and the 13th through 32nd players in their respective finishes. Sydney Brummett, 13th, of course, losing the roll-off. Olivia Sandham, great bowling, along with Verity Crawley. Verity Crawley actually had a chance at the end of the game, or excuse me, the final game, to go around Missy and Sydney ultimately. Wrapped a 10-pin, which was very common for her in the last 2 games. Wrapped one in the 9th on a string to just miss. That shot there from Barnes. Speaking of Josie, got the actual year that her and her husband Kyle met. Kyle was here. I just asked him just to make sure. Wow.
I tell you what, Liz has got some ball reaction issues this morning. You look at those last 3 frames. She went through the nose, then she went light. Now she went through the nose again. And yeah, when your average count is 6 for 3 frames, it's going to take some major adjustments. That's not a minor one for Liz right now.
Indeed, and just the 6 out. That's certainly tough. Loses obviously some count.
And she immediately went over to Jan Van Hees, her representative from Brunswick, to start talking a little strategy.
Good shot from Bro. 2006, Josie and Kyle Barnes met. North Point High School Singles Championships. They each won their respective divisions at $15K apiece. Of course, they both went on to very successful collegiate careers. And now, adults in the life and the sport of bowling. How about that?
Yeah.
There's your National Bowling Day romantic story there. A shot from Rocio. Here is Brianna Cote. Finally got something to work on the left lane. That wasn't a split, first and foremost.
And we've said that a lot this weekend. It seems to be these pairs on the Bowl TV coverage. The left lane seems to be the lane that really is giving players more issues. Just happens to possibly be a quirk of the lane topography on this recent install. But talking with Scott Pohl last night, even new lanes, some of the old characteristics from the last set of lanes seem to be continuing here on this new install. He always said that 23 and 24 played tough, and 23 was usually tighter than 24, and seemed to play out that way all night long yesterday. Squared up a little bit more for Liz, a little right on the approach and target, and
Well, backhands look a little fresh. Crisp, if you will. Nice shot there from Barnes. Josie a little, not by much, but a little further left than some of the players. So is Liz Kuhlkin. Poplar about 11 at the arrows. Nice shot.
yeah, it seems to be early on a lot of ways to get through the front part of the lane. Then as the pattern breaks down, you see the players that start a bit farther right make a big jump to join the rest of the group left. Danielle McEwen looking to start with a 250 game, and she's got the chance. All she needs is the fill ball in the 10th frame. Shannon O'Keefe looking for a game in the 250s as well. And that's the thing, it's so close between 3rd and 11th. It's going to be a lot of standings juggling all morning long.
If you're having issues with viewing scores, I would suggest you clear your cache or try a different browser, or both. And if those don't work, then there would be an issue. But the scores and results links work very well. 21 through 26. Camera placements. O'Keefe down on the high end on 31 and 32. Either sent the 4 or maybe the 2 in front of the 10. And looks to be an open frame potentially in the 10th for Shannon O'Keefe.
Yeah, it's going to knock her into the 220s. Stephanie Johnson a chance for 258 on 27 and 28. Johnson being in 9th, but only 32 pins, or 28 pins behind Danielle McEwen. In 5th, Johnson can make that 4 or 5 position jump, get herself right in one of those stepladder numbers.
Get from Germany. Berg. A solid shot in 9th. She's 3 out of 5 on the left lane. Barnes. Finally her first double for Josie. Cote have finally gained some momentum on that pair. Again, this is not match play. No bonus pins. Total pins, and pins do carry over.
Steph Johnson with an 8-pin first ball of the 10th frame. It's going to leave her with a 247 max if she strikes on the fill after that conversion.
High scores to start round 1, or excuse me, round of 12, game 1. Seal feeling good from her game and from the game perspective. Well, let's go ahead and throw that 9 spare talk out the window in regards to Liz Kuhlkin. So that's some things to figure out here.
Well, if Rocio strikes out, we could have a new leader already this morning. She can strike out for 238. Liz right now is staring at 166 in the face. If she only gets 1 on that 210 conversion.
Wow. That one held. And I tell you what, you know, Rose pretty determined. Had a good interview with her last night. Great work from Aaron and Jason McEwen. And it's all posted on PWBA Social. Be sure to check that out. But just in regard to the up and down season, she did make a stepladder finals appearance in Fountain Valley. But there have been some peaks and been some valleys. But no doubt this is, I think, the best she's bowled. And maybe even including that Fountain Valley appearance.
Yes, no, maybe yes. a range of reactions there from Restrepo on that shot.
That's the row I know. Keeps us guessing.
And there's been a bit of that all week long for all of these players where they throw a shot, and they think it's good, and all of a sudden they get surprised the last 5-6 feet on the lane.
Well, not necessarily that part for Rowe, just the actual reaction and what she's going to give you once she releases the bowling ball. It's there's only one Rocio in that regard. And we're going to see more of it as the day goes on. And that's when I know that Rowe is feeling good.
Yeah, Rocio just going to be a little short of Liz right now, but that gap, less than 20 pins between first and second after that finish by Restrepo.
Tough open for Joseph the 10th, 203. Again, Restrepo shoots 221. Final shot for game 1 from Bjerget. She won't get to 2-0, only 190. So a couple 190 games, actually 3 190s. 240, 220, 230 out there. All right, game 1 is in the books. Game 2 will feature Bjerget and Brianna on 21 and 22. Stephanie Johnson, Erin McCarthy about to step up on 23 and 24. And the Hall of Famer Liz Johnson and Danielle McEwen on 25 and 26 here. National Bowling Day, Cedarville Lanes. I swear that we did not plan to be having an event on National Bowling Day, but that's exactly what should be happening on National Bowling Day.
There's a lot of bowling on National Bowling Day. You got PWBA here, PBA 50s in the Grand Rapids area in Michigan. There's a lot of bowling going on for National Bowling Day.
Off and running on 23 and 24. Erin McCarthy, already a champion this season, won her first PWBA title in Louisville. Fern Valley Strike and Spare. Stephanie Johnson, a 2-time winner on tour. Former Rookie of the Year 2015. All right, good opening shot. Here is DMAC, Danielle McEwen. Boy, that left lane. Brianna Cote left a 4-6 early in lane 1, or excuse me, on lane 25, game number 1. We'll have scores for you momentarily. And big thanks to Kathy Watka. That one, probably a touch right, wiggled just a little bit. You can kind of see it wiggle too. More staff gets the count, does DMAC. Stephanie Johnson had the furthest to climb. She was in 26th place after round 1, the first 8 games of competition yesterday morning. Now Liz Johnson.
Little back trip on the 9 as that pin was spinning into the pit.
Early break for Poplar. Of course, as we watch McCarthy. Aaron had a great round 2 block, but not a great situation there to start on lane 24. LJ looking for the early double. A couple of step ladder finals appearances this season for Liz. Made the show early, the opening event of the season in Las Vegas, and made the Queens show. Queens won by Shannon O'Keefe. The Vegas Open was won by Shayna Ung. But Liz does have a title this season that allowed her to get a spot tour championship.
Poplar, why move? You got 2 crossovers. Actually, know of a woman that actually had a 300 game with 10 crossovers and 2 pocket shots, and one of the pocket shots was the 12th ball. The late Erlene Fuller out of Milwaukee.
That's all that matters.
That's right. She used to design a lot of bowling jerseys back in the day for members of the Milwaukee TNBA Senate, and lots of us other players as well. You could always tell you had an Erlene Fuller jersey because it had a little ladybug. For the women it was on the collar, and for the guys it was a little ladybug over the pocket on the chest. And that was just embroidery. Now with the designs we have from all these product registered companies, the PWBA Tour, you can do anything you want with them. Chop for McEwen. 2 opens, 3 frames for the woman that started the day in 5th position. Hot start to game at 2 for Shannon O'Keefe. 4-bagger spare double over on 27 and 28. Jordan Richard and O'Keefe, but they may have a little bit of a built-in break after this game. Many strikes as they're throwing on that pair already into the 7th frame, while other pairs here in the 3rd or 4th.
Oh.
Jordan Richards' solid game as well, still a possible 246 on the same pair with O'Keefe. Shannon O'Keefe strike in the 8th. Still the possible 279 for O'Keefe. Week 10 for Johnson. A little extra wish into that shot when it was let go. You know, it's not going to be flush pocket. Wow, 3 pins fighting around the 7. Nothing touches it for Johnson of the Liz variety. Now the Johnson of the Stephanie variety. Stepping up for her spare.
Shannon O'Keefe and Jordan Richard both off to pretty solid starts the day. Are awaiting the results first game. We do know those are on the way. So if you're clicking that particular link, you would be correct to say that that one is still says coming soon. Everything else should be okay.
Sliced left for Liz.
A little weird pace to it today.
Yeah, there's a couple of players that are pretty deliberate with their pre-shot routines, and that's gonna change things up a bit. And then you get a player like Jordan Richard that get the ball in my hand and let's go. Taking a look down on our end pair, 31 and 32. Josie Barnes, open frame in the first. She's followed it up with a 5-bagger. So Barnes, our number 11 qualifier, but easily was within striking range coming in today. Only 39 pins behind McEwen in 5th coming into the round.
Jay Rich looking at 246.
That one read early for McCarthy. Saw her coming back and just mouthing, going, wow.
Pretty nice pin action. Good break for D-Mac. Many other players already talking about National Bowling Day on social media. Of course, Fox and Friends this morning on the Fox News channel. Hopefully you get a chance to catch that or DVR it. A chance to see Daria Payok at the PWBA, Andrew Anderson, PBA, and Parker Bone from the PBA 50. The Hall of Famer.
Parker making the flight out of Grand Rapids, Michigan last night. Has to get back there in time for A Squad today at 3 p.m. And sometimes that LaGuardia air traffic can get a little interesting if he's flying. I would assume with having to get to Grand Rapids, either that or he's got some other special transportation awaiting him.
Nice spare. Nice job from Liz.
Well, the strike string made it out the 6 for Josie Barnes. Now she just broke up a possible split. Barnes still looking at a possible 257 though, with a conversion and a strikeout in the 9th and 10th. Ooh, and O'Keefe comes up high. Still going to be in the 240s with a conversion on a 4-7. And a strike on the fill ball in the 10th frame. Liz Kuhlkin, her struggles continue this morning. 1 strike and an open through 6 frames for Kuhlkin. I apologize, a double and an open for Kuhlkin. Now through 7. She's not putting together the score line she was putting together last night.
Well, without question, and this is where the mental game really comes to the forefront. There's a lot to deal with. Struggling out the gates. Players around you don't tend to be having the same issues, which only means the scores are getting higher while yours are going the other way. And all of a sudden, it's not even about the, as we talked about earlier, maintaining the #1 seed. Now it could be in really in just 6 games. We're already down to just about 2, staying in the top 5.
The only thing that could be helping that cause right now is McCune. Struggling a bit this game. She's going to max out at 193 with a punch out in the 10th.
In regards to scores, folks, apologize early. Seemed to be an early technical issue. So once we get the okay, or once yes, we get the okay and able to refresh to let you know that all is well.
Shannon O'Keefe 2-4-4 for her second game this morning. And Josie Barnes is stepping up in the 10th frame, still with a chance for a game in the 240s as well.
What a shot. Well, Liz looks to be using 2 balls, one on each lane.
We've noticed those left lanes in this full TV coverage area seem to be playing a bit tighter, and Liz taking some of that knowledge she's gained over the last 24, now 25 games, and trying to use it to her advantage.
Also no stranger to doing that and being comfortable with it, of course. Nicely done. Talked about that. She did it striking against breast cancer mixed doubles at the Lucy final game. It's also something very common that, you know, many players utilize.
And Josie Barnes with a big cover on a 2-4-10 in the 10th frame. Still gives her a chance for a game in the 230s. How about that?
187 for Steph J, and she split the 8-9. Max score 191 for Erin McCarthy. And Liz Johnson, the Hall of Famer, stepping up late and finishing strong, 224.
And keeping the score sheet clean for the whole game. That's been the tough thing to do this week here at Cedar Vale Lanes.
Second game scores, again, a little kind of on par. And when you think about the entire group, see a few 190s, 180s, a couple of 2-0s against some 240s.
And the pairs are holding up from earlier in the week. We saw Josie Barnes' perfect game on 27-28. We've known that pair's been relatively high scoring for the field this week. That seems to be happening again this morning. And we know that 23 and 24 plays pretty tough, and we're seeing that as well this morning at 187 for Stephanie Johnson and a game in the 180s right now for McCarthy as well. But this morning, only 6 pairs in play for 6 games. Everyone's going to hit every pair. We're going to take a short timeout for a second. McCarthy made it back to the seating area, but she is down right now.
hope Aaron is okay. She got to the line at the release and just kind of turned and seemed to be obviously in some serious pain. Yesterday a little bit.
Well, yesterday she had when she took off her ankle.
It was that left foot, but so hopefully, I'm not sure what it is. Don't want to speculate. And I think certainly the players, Tennille came down to check on her, players around her checking in to see if she's okay. Aaron is a warrior. Talked about some of the injuries she has endured the last couple seasons on tour. It really gave, honestly, that sense around everyone, the players, everyone's thought process immediately went to check on Aaron. And that's how the players are out here on tour.
Yeah, you never want to see a competitor go down with an injury, especially in the heat of a round such as this, where everyone's battling to make that stepladder final.
She grabs some ice. And looking to go grab potentially some different equipment. But it looks like we'll have to wait and see. But at the moment, it looks like she's going to try to give it a go. All right, game 3 is coming up next. Missy Parkin, Liz Kuhlkin on 23 and 24. And then we'll get an opportunity here to really see any improved ball reaction for Liz Kuhlkin. Speaking of ball reaction, pocket 7-10 off the bat for Missy Parkin.
Shannon O'Keefe taking a couple of warm-up swings off the back of the approach. She's been done for a good 10 minutes of their game. Pretty solid pace for O'Keefe and Jordan Richard. With both having games in the 240s. Last game. Well, McCarthy is stepping up down on lane 30. We'll keep you updated on how she seems to be doing. And she throws her first ball. She has a solid base. Came up a little high, but a little bit of a problem with the walking gait back for McCarthy. You can see, look in her eyes, there's some obvious pain going on. She was on the left side of that approach on lane 24 when she was shooting at a 10 pin. And that fill shot in the 10th frame, and some of the players on 23 and 24, there have been some approach issues on occasion. We saw Olivia Sandem have some issues in these two pairs around the support beams here inside of Cedarvale Lanes. Earlier in the week, she had a couple of fouls. We saw other players have some problems with sticking as well, so hopefully that was just a one-time problem for McCarthy. Yeah, McCarthy, she's trying to get off that left foot as quickly as possible once the ball's through. She's not holding the pose at the foul line as much as she normally does. So hopefully she can gut it out through this round and then get some treatment for that left leg. Stops remaining on this PWBA Tour. One more elite field and then the Players' Championship prior to the Tour Championship if McCarthy qualifies for it. You'd hate to have your season end early because of an injury. And McCarthy just missed a 10-pin, and yeah, she definitely can't hold the athletic pose she normally does at the point of release. I'm Phil Breiler here with Emil Williams Jr. Emil investigating the ongoing score update issue. We'll get you some updates as quickly as we possibly can. But the situation after game 2 this morning is the left leg of Erin McCarthy. Hopefully all as well as she tries to continue through this round after sticking a buckle over left leg at the foul line at the end of game 2. Well, if there is a benefit to the players about the scores not being updated right now, it's that you can't scoreboard watch. You don't know exactly where things may be standing at this point in time. All you can do is worry about what's going on the lanes for yourself and try to maximize your score potential. You don't know who's chasing you. You don't know who you're chasing. Just get up there and pile as many pins as you can, game from game from game. As much as players like to admit they don't scoreboard watch, I'm sure they sneak one or two of those on occasion. Taking a look at some of the action off camera. Brianna Cote, 3-bagger spare to start for her first 4 frames. And that's really the only early string of strikes off camera. It's the Three-bagger by Cote. Lots of 9 spares on the board. Looking down the other 3 pairs in play here at Cedardale Lanes. 2018 BowlerX.com PWBA Twin Cities Open. This is round of 12 coverage. '23 and 24 playing as tough as it has all week long. Only 1 strike between the 2 players to this point, and it's going to stay that way as Parkin comes up high. And Richard hooks by the head pin, negates that double she had in the 2nd and 3rd frames. Back to scoring pace in the 190s for Richard. Chop for Parkin. She had a long road to climb anyway coming into today to try to make TV. With the transition of this lane pattern, unknown in length, volume, and ratios to the players. Starting to change up. Getting a little tougher to get all 10 down from shot to shot. As the players move throughout these 6 pairs in play for the round of 12. Kuhlkin, the problems continue for Liz this morning. The strikes that were plentiful yesterday for her, very rare to this point today. We saw Liz start with a game in the 160s. Strepo looking for 3 in a row. It needs to come up hard, and it does to get the 7 down last. Second effort by the 2 pin on the 4 for Jordan Richard. Kuhlkin posts her first strike of game 3, 6 frames in. Josie Barnes coming off a 230 game in game 2. That one, she got around that a little too much. Really increased that change of direction on the back end. The baby split remains for Josie Barnes.
All right. Thanks, Phil.
Absolutely. Boy, the strike strings are drying up.
It's just got a weird feel to it. We ended the day, or last night I should say, on a kind of a weird feel, but I feel like the roll-off got us, everyone, into like this different mode, and the atmosphere changed instantly.
Yes.
And today it's, well, we're not sure what's really going on. people are kind of struggling, and maybe we didn't expect that. And then it's like, well, kind of like yesterday where, 10 people really still had a chance to make the top 12, and it's still anyone's game here.
It's a different kind of excitement because it's not going to be the three-bagger that makes a difference. It's going to be who has that inopportune open frame or two late in the game that turns a 200 game into a 160 and then could let someone else buy them.
So, what do we have done? Went down to and the scores still being worked on. Apologize for the inconvenience, but I did go down and try to grabbed all of the scores as of the first two games. And so, at the moment, unofficially, Liz Kuhlkin is still your leader after shooting, even after shooting 160-2-0 the first two games. She's at plus 319 unofficially. And so keep these in mind if you're scoring at home. Liz Kuhlkin, your leader, plus 319 at 166-203. In second is Rocio Restrepo at plus 286. Restrepo went 221-181. And third, Liz Johnson at plus 235, 259-224 at plus 235. In fourth place is Shannon O'Keefe. She has gone 212-244 at plus 231. In fifth, Danielle McEwen, 250 game 1, 190 game 2, plus 220. A lot of zeros there for Danielle, but no channel dusters. In sixth place right now is Brianna Cote at plus 210, 210. She went 192, 227 the first two games. Seventh is Jordan Richard. She went 193, 246 at plus 199. Eighth place, Stephanie Johnson, 247, 187, plus 184. Josie Barnes is ninth at plus 174, 203, 230, 230 in game number 2, again plus 174. In 10th, Aaron McCarthy, who is bowling, by the way. 195, 180, I'm sure Phil touched on that.
Yes, it did.
Aaron is at plus 159. Bearded Poplar is 11th at plus 143. She has shot 190, 208. And Missy Parkin is 12th at plus 54. Shooting 198 to 174 in the first two. So between, till we get everything solved here, I'm going to try to get these essentially manually so we can obviously know what's happening and be able to truthfully tell you what's happening as well. So bear with us in that regard. We got some folks between myself, Aaron. We'll try to get the scores for you as best as we can after each game. The players are very good about updating their score sheets, obviously their own. So it should be a pretty simple thing to roll on through, grab a couple plus minuses, and come on back.
And once again, you start to see some strike strings develop from a player or two like Missy Parkin here. Problem is for Missy, she had 2 opens before she got to that 4-bagger. And you see that a lot all weekend long here at Cedar Valley Lanes. Getting 10 clean frames in a game is a brutal thing to try to do.
Well, if you Missy Parkin, obviously it's a long road, and the odds are not in the favor. But still, of course, a lot to learn. And I always wonder what it's like to be in that type of situation sometimes, where with all intents and purposes, You may not have enough games to get to where you need to get to, but the things you take away still from that experience.
Right, and Miss is the kind of player until the math says officially she can't do it. She's going to keep fighting, and then maybe after that point in time, then you get the experiment. Then you try something that maybe you thought you could have done earlier in the week. Give that a try. Keep trying to put deuces up on the scoreboard. Because you never know when you might run into something similar to this condition again. And especially when you don't know exactly what the condition was because you have no idea. You've seen no graphs. You're just using your own intuition to try to play this tough pattern. That needs some help, and she gets the 9 out for O'Keefe. And at 3-6, 9-10. Kuhlkin bounced back with a 4-bagger of her own, but Rocio Restrepo keeping pace with Kuhlkin. Still going to be tight for that 1-2 spot through this game. Kuhlkin's going to defer to O'Keefe for her fill ball. I love me fill ball strikes. I don't like ring 10s on those fill balls. So Liz is going to finish with 2:07 with a strike on the fill ball. Restrepo can finish with 2:34, so unofficially we could have a new leader if my math is correct. Remember, I'm using live stream math, so sometimes that's not the most accurate.
It's always a question.
I didn't want to just brand name that particular mistake I would have made. But we'll just go with live stream math. Well, Restrepo now, she's going to max out at 214, so Liz should stay in the lead after Restrepo leaves the 4-7 first ball of the 10th frame. Jordan Richards struggles late. And a little quick with that ball. Richards looking at a game in the 160s about that conversion of 2, 4, and 10. Stephanie Johnson trying to make a big run on the end. Possible game in the 250s with 3 in the 10th. It's a ball, good ball for Parkin. Just a tad high for the 4-pin. And 168 for Jordan Richard. And boy, she had gotten some momentum with that 240 plus game last game. It gives it all back in the last 4 frames of game 3. .214 for Restrepo. Wow, big open for Stephanie Johnson in the 10th frame. Leaves her at 213. And she could have really gained some more ground with a punch out in the 10th. Erin McCarthy still hanging tough, though. 2-0 for McCarthy in game 3, so she's getting a little bit more of a base underneath her. And looks like she's going to gut it out through the last 3 games of this round of 12.
Not surprising. I've only seen Erin have to withdraw once, and she hated doing it that time. And I believe it was she had a groin injury, which it was either early 2017 or late 2016 in one of those seasons.
Yeah, you look at her walking by right now, though. She's got a little bit of a hitch in the giddy up.
I mean, that's the same player who literally went through really some debilitating back spasms in the last round of the U.S. Women's Open in 2017 and stood during the TV show in between shots because sitting was not the best thing for her.
Game 3 in the books. Game 4 coming up. And you gotta love a tournament director that thinks on the fly. You've got the scores scrolling across the bottom of the scoreboards. So I'm gonna make some adjustments here. And hopefully we should be able to get those where they're viewable for our viewers at home. They might go by a little quick, so you're gonna have to pay attention. But they are. Let's see if we can make this work.
I think I like the most that it says, and we can't see it yet, but it says DMAC.
Yes. I'm going to try. Here we go. I just had an idea pop in my head, and I think this is going to work perfectly.
All right, folks, try to get you a little something. Obviously, it's scrolling pretty quickly, and we'll continue to do what we talked about in regards to the scores. If you're just joining us, this is Game 4, round of 12. Having some score malfunctions in regards to some technical things to enter score. So the best we can do here is grab some scores for you, pluses and minuses, try to update you after every game. We're going to try to do that between myself, Aaron, Phil as well. And then as you just saw in the center, I'm able to get the scores on the ticker, the running ticker underneath the scoreboard. So as you can see, pop that up for you. We'll do it every few frames. For those of you coming in, checking in, that's what we have right now for you. Appreciate you tuning in, bearing with us on that. And yeah. No matter what.
Hey, we got to be like these bowlers. We're always adjusting the conditions that are given to us.
No question about it. I mean, we're on a 2-1 today. We're on a 2-1 today.
I don't know. For a second there, I almost thought it was a reverse block. Then I made the little move and then found right where I needed to be.
We're on the 2-to-1 ratio. 100% sports certified. We're trying to find the right combination of ball reaction. We're trying to match up. We're getting there.
If I just had a little less surface right now.
Yeah. I agree. I need something that goes. I need something with a little lane shine on it right now. Oh, perfect. How about that? We don't have to do it anymore, Phil.
Oh.
Oh, we did it a different way. Awesome. Thanks, Sandy.
Good to see McCarthy being a little more stable at the line.
All right, so the score totals are updated after 18 games. Read that update before, but you guys have let us know that it's actually on the site, so fantastic. Still on 2-1 though. Still going with that analogy.
Let those scores scroll through one more time for you.
Can give you a quick update since I already had it. After 3 complete today, as Liz Kuhlkin is your leader still at plus 323. Rocio Restrepo is second at plus 300. Danielle McEwen is third at plus 238. Shannon O'Keefe is fourth at plus 226. Brianna Cote is fifth at plus 222. And Liz Johnson is sixth right now at plus 216.
Wow, so a couple players backed up a bit. And the numbers seem to back off a bit as well. What was fifth unofficially?
222.
Oh, it went up by 2 pins that game. Wow. We've seen problems with the left side spares all week long, but that was a huge miss by O'Keefe. That's surprising at this point in time. Rocio Restrepo down on 29-30. Restrepo has herself the front 3. Well, Liz Kuhlkin opened on a 210 in the 3rd frame. Spare strike open for Kuhlkin, so right now that would leave Restrepo close to the lead.
right, Jay Rich stepping up on 26.
See it so often today. More than I think we saw yesterday, where the bowler leaves an open frame and all of a sudden lights a fire under the backside and they start pulling a 3, 4, 5-bagger off after that. Sometimes it takes a little anger at yourself to refocus.
See McCarthy. Danielle came through, came back off the approach from the exhale. Let's Kuhlkin with a great shot on lane 28. Hold on. All right, spare made for McEwen. Double 9 spare, 9 spare. For Danielle. McCarthy. The Warrior. And still throwing great shots.
How many times have we seen lane 23 where a bowler just gets it in the wrong spot and it just pushes long? Or they get in the other wrong spot and it burns energy too early and can't even come close to getting back to the pocket. That's the frustrating part. If you know the ball is consistently going to do one thing or the other, then you can make the quality read off of it. When all of a sudden you make the move and you think the ball is not going to read as early and it reads even earlier and loses energy, as a great cover by McEwen. That's the part where it's just got to keep the wheels spinning.
McEwen back on the strike train with a double. A 310 opportunity for Steph. Still looking for her first strike. And that is textbook. Just trying to wheel the 10 pin down there. Still, including this game, a couple more to go. Again, total pins. Pins have carried over. No bonus. This is not match play. Pins continue to accumulate. That's right, folks. If you are in the area, please come on out. Fan Fest Demo Day happening here at Cedarville Lanes. I believe it begins at 1:30 to 3, an hour before the TV finals. Along with that, the Fan Fest will have an opportunity to meet some of your favorite players.
Wow. Almost a 5-7-10 for Liz. That ball just burned out so early and then catches carried on at the end of the pattern. That's a deadly combination.
All right, as Scott just mentioned in the chat, the scores are updated after 19. Liz Kuhlkin remains your leader at plus 323. Rocio Restrepo plus 300. I just went over these scores, but we'll go over them one more time. Danielle McEwen third at plus 238. O'Keefe is fourth at plus 226. Brianna Cote is fifth at plus 222. Liz Johnson is sixth right now, 6 pins outside the number at plus 216. Stephanie Johnson is seventh at plus 197. Josie Barnes is eighth at plus 175. Jordan Richard is ninth at plus 167. Aaron McCarthy is 10th at plus 163. Here we get Poplar 11th at plus 107. Good shot from D-Mac, and Missy Park at 12th at plus 69.
Update on our top two. Restrepo stepping up in the 7th frame. 4-bagger spare strike for Restrepo. Kuhlkin still struggling. 2 strikes not together on the scoreboard. Put an open frame between them. And Restrepo pacing for the lead right now.
D-Mac on to 23.
Nope. Being burned out.
One, 2, 4, 10 opportunity for McEwen. Let the same leave in frame number 5. Stephanie Johnson. 4, 6, 7. Look at the scores. Race for the top 5. This Kuhlkin throughout all has been able to maintain open frame for Restrepo. And this is the 2-8 and the 7th. And a 7-pin here for Shannon O'Keefe. Keep an eye on Jordan Richard. All right, Liz Johnson, no strikes here on 23 and 24. And we know that this has notoriously been a tough pair throughout the live stream in our weekend here. That's a good shot, though.
Another piece in the hand that we saw different from last game. She used 2 different balls last game, now to a 3rd ball here on this pair.
That was just such a quality shot from Steph. And as that one was as well from Jordan Richard. And that is 5 in a row for Jay Rich.
Nope. That one almost started looking at her toes and blew through so much energy early. But she knows she can't go any farther outside because the parent's going to take it long and the ball never even come close to the head pin. I don't envy anyone that needs 210 the last game again to try to get in the step ladder, and they're finishing on 23 and 24.
We could have that scenario. Right now, Jordan Richard can put up 248. Oh, she'll be right back in the mix here. McCarthy for a double. Oh, really good shot.
Poplar and Cote are the 2 victims in game 6 on 23 and 24. Right now, who's the number? Brianna Cote.
Jordan Richard should be in the 240s. Made the show last week in St. Petersburg, Clearwater. All right, so late tap on the 7 for Danielle. And McEwen again right now, who is 3rd at plus 238. All right, 246. For Jay Rich. O'Keefe. Shannon can get to 223. So continue to move up the leaderboard here and potentially pass Danielle McEwen this game as well with 2 left. Stephanie Johnson Last 2 shots have been phenomenal. Live from Cedarville Lanes, home of the 2018 BowlerX.com PWBA Twin Cities Open. This is the round of 12, game 4. Just a few games left to determine the top 5 for this afternoon's live stepladder finals on CBS Sports Network. And McEwen's ball met the spot yet again. This time, though, it met a spot. Hasn't been the case the last 2 times on the left lane.
Wow, Liz Kuhlkin on a double just left the super washout. She's looking at a max of 2-0, and she's looking at Restrepo passing her for the lead.
Stephanie Johnson trying to close this game out. Get to 206. Open frame for McEwen in the 9th. And O'Keefe is going to go around Danielle McEwen this game with 2 left. My question right now would be if DMAC falls out of the top 5. That would depend on what Brianna Cote is doing. Look on the fill. Eye-opening shot there for Shannon O'Keefe. She shoots 220.
Great cover by Kuhlkin on the super washout. Keeps her hope for 200 alive here this game. Cote, no big strings, no big opens. Pretty clean game. Cote looking at a 2-0 pace. Down on 31 and 32.
This is really setting up for Liz Johnson to do Liz Johnson type things, to perform on shots like that, to kind of wow the crowd and get the crowd to think and continue to think about the many times Liz will double or throw a 3-bagger late or throw a big game late to make a step ladder. It's kind of got that feel to it.
And the thing for Liz right now is, you know, she's going, if I got off this pair at 190, I've done a hell of a job this morning, and now I can really fire away on a couple of better scoring pairs, try to secure myself in the top 5. Of course, as soon as I say get to 190, she rings the 10 pin, 179 the max, but still the way things were looking through the 6th frame, could have been a lot worse for Liz on this pair.
Well, she's going to go to 21 and 22, then 27 and 28 to finish.
Oh, you can't ask for a better pair to finish on right now, with 27 and 8. That pair seems, we've had some 240 games on that pair, which is more than we can say for 23 and 24.
Speaking of 23 and 24, Birgit Poplar and Brianna Cote, who will be in the mix, will finish on 23 and 24. Missy Parkin, got the fam in town. Family has been pretty much throughout the season. Of course, with DJ being here. Parents have, of course, grandparents done a great job in helping Missy and Drew out. Good to see them just about every week. Right now, McEwen already won in the 10th. Trying to limit the damage. Shot coming up. Great shot for DMAC. Suppresses a couple of opens. Get to 188. Talking to the reps. She's kind of describing what she's thinking, maybe what she's feeling and seeing as well, and how to move forward, what to do. Final shot for her coming up. Liz Kuhlkin trying to save 200 and 200 even. By the way, made that washout that Phil talked about in the ninth, and that has set her up to at least get to even this game. See where D-Mac will move to. Looks like she is moving left on the approach. All right, 185 for McEwen.
And Restrepo just stepped up first ball of the 10th. Leaves a 2-8. Can shoot 215, so if Kuhlkin can punch, she can still stay in the lead by 8 pins. And pocket 7-10 for Kuhlkin, second ball of the 10th.
It's been a common leave. Appreciate everyone joining us and tuning in. This event started on Thursday morning with the PTQ, the pre-tournament qualifier. They advanced 9 players from the PTQ to go with the 23 players from the elite field. Someone mentioned, of course, you guys talking about it in the chat, there is a missing player from the top 24. It's Tanya Raumemper, who is competing in the Asian Games, which I believe now are underway, representing Indonesia. So that is a spot available to the PTQ. Any player from the elite field who does withdraw, spot will go to the PTQ. Next week, mini bowlers. We've got several in Columbus who will compete in the PTQ. Looking forward to it. Those 9 advancers again make up the 32-player field. 2 rounds yesterday, 8 games apiece. After 16 games, the top 12 moved on to this morning's round for 6 additional. They're into game 5 of this morning. And with Phil Brylow, my name is Emil Williams Jr. Thank you for tuning in. Thanks for watching. And hanging tough, hanging around as we got through some quick score things earlier today. Big thanks to the tournament staff and the crew for doing what we have to do sometimes, and that's adjusting to make sure you guys know what's happening in regards to scores. It's Neil Milligan, McCarthy's, Wonka, and Kavicki, Jason McEwen, Jason Thomas, Phil Brylow is here this week. We've got live TV on the way. All right, good cover for O'Keefe. Quick update just before you see the standings online from Aaron Smith. The 2-pin lead for Liz Kuhlkin. With 2 games left, she is at plus 312. Rosillo at plus 310. O'Keefe at plus 246. McEwen at plus 223. So that is Kuhlkin, Restrepo, O'Keefe third. McEwen is 4th. Brianna Cote now 5th at plus 214. Jordan Richard, that 246 game has moved her to 6th at plus 213, just 1 pin behind Cote for the 5th spot, with Liz Johnson in 7th at plus 195. Stephanie Johnson is 8th at plus 192. perfect on lane 23. And shakes her head there in frustration on, of course, what took place in the right lane. Here's Liz Johnson looking for the early double. And the ball changed late in 23 and 24. So far looking really good on 21 and 22.
And that's the first time Liz Kuhlkin started with a double all day long. And she had a few decent starts to games yesterday. A couple of them were just hang on for dear life after as the lanes continued to transition. And I just walked by a couple of ball reps between games, and I just looked at them and I said, is it possible they got uglier than yesterday for the ladies? And they said, absolutely. They are playing flatter and tougher than yesterday.
Well, they look at it is progressively going the opposite direction. Good shot. I felt that one from here.
And that's the thing, you know you're going to leave 2 or 3 10 pins if you hit every shot in the pocket during a game. The corners will stand up and fight against you with only 1 300 game this week. You know, you just got to take a little salt in the wound, let it sting for a second, and then pick up your spare.
Be sure to subscribe if you have not already, the Bowl TV, so you'll, oh my, come on.
And then something slides back across the deck and just teases knocking it over.
Come on. But subscribe to Bowl TV, so get your notifications when we'll be live. We'll be back at it next week in Columbus. Thursday PTQ. Friday qualifying rounds 1 and 2, and the Saturday round of 12. All right, spare made for O'Keefe. D-Mac took care of her 8-pin, and Liz Kuhlkin again, as Phil mentioned, on the double. We'll see McEwen first. Good break for Danielle. That's a situation where if you follow basketball, ball don't lie. You got a break. Shouldn't have left the 8-pin in the first place.
Instant karma. Doesn't happen very often in this sport.
Jordan Richard, keep an eye on Jay Rich. And LJ. 2-4-5. That is not the easiest of spares this week. It never is, but especially this week, the lanes have been tricky.
Yeah, the bowlers just try changing their angles slightly to go to the left side of the lane, and it either hydroplanes past, or we've seen a lot of balls that just start slightly left and just insta-hook.
Wow. Seen a lot of rarities today so far. Open frame for Liz in the 4th. You see Restrepo's bowling ball to your right on 28. A high flush strike. Again, Restrepo is in second. 2 pins behind Kuhlkin. Oh, best shot of the day.
And Cote in trouble early. Back-to-back opens to start her game 5. Down on 29 and 30.
Best shot of the day there for Kuhlkin. Out of O'Keefe. Between 3rd and 4th. Arrow. High flush.
Walks back with a purpose after a strike like that. And that purpose, keep throwing more.
LJ. Oh, that looked early. Just a 7-pin for Rocio. Husband Joe is here. Her this week. As Missy leaves a 3-pin, now back to O'Keefe. Husband Brian just celebrated a birthday. Hubble was in, left of target.
And another chop for Liz, back to back. Wow. Kind of bowling bizarro world that we landed in this game. Cote tried to bounce back off those early 2 opens with a double, but in the 4th frame leaves a 4-pin. So she's still pacing the 170s early this game.
Shot for Missy. Loves the smiles from Missy despite what's happening. Still getting through. Much needed spare for McEwen. Out of Jordan. And a bit of a weak 10 there. Stops the string at the 3-bagger. And really the best look, I think, for that Liz Kuhlkin has seen throughout the day so far, through just 5 frames, however. In a minute, there it is. You should have your scoreboard update available online. Mention them again, but we'll go through it. Liz Kuhlkin and Rocio Restrepo now just separated by 2 pins. Plus 312, plus 310. In third, Shannon O'Keefe at plus 246. Danielle McEwen fourth at plus 223. Brianna Cote fifth at plus 214. Again, just 1 pin back right now. Jordan Richard at plus 213. Liz Johnson not far behind at plus 195. Neither is Stephanie Johnson. Great shot from Kuhlkin. And that is 3 in a row. Jay Rich. Play with one a little bit based on her reaction at the release point.
Liz trying to avoid the buzzard. Back-to-back opens. Wow. And the fast 8 makes an ugly appearance.
Chelsea Barnes, I'm sorry, Phil.
That's okay. I was just
plus 180, by the way.
Liz just rushing up to try to make that spare. That's kind of unusual. Frustration coming through for Liz.
Yeah, 34 pins out of the number. Is Barnes at plus 180 and 9th. McCarthy at plus 146. Poplar at plus 130. And Missy Parkin at plus 58.
Stephanie Johnson, not a hot start to this game. First frame open, and then Dutch since through 5. Wow. I don't want to say the wheels are coming off, but there's a couple loose lug nuts right now for Liz.
Well, it's certainly developed into, obviously, it's always a race for the final spot. O'Keefe.
I don't know if it's a race. They might be pushing that car across the finish line at the rate this is going. Everybody's going to be out of gas, and it's got to be just the grind. So many games on such a tough condition in such a short period of time. I mean, Missy Parkin had less than 12 hours after that roll-off was done last night to get back here and start practice.
Double for Richard. McEwen. Max still searching. But still inside the number at the moment. That time the 710 does not stand. And Kuhlkin coming out with her best stuff here late in this block.
One thing looking back on 21 and 22 here, you had Liz Kuhlkin star on that pair. We had Jordan Richard on that pair in game 3. With much different lines, a little more swing to the pocket than what we're seeing for both McEwen and Liz Johnson on that pair. I wonder how that could have affected their ball reaction at this point in time.
Jordan can go back-to-back 240 games. And she started round 2 yesterday at 240, 242. So without question, you need to know the history. You know she is capable.
Stephanie Johnson coming off, it looks like back-to-back open. She's at 95 in the 6th. Down on 31 and 32. Good toss by O'Keefe. Boy, if O'Keefe gets off this pair with 226, it's like shooting 250 next door on 25 and 6 or 27 and 28. This is not an easy pair to get a ton off of.
Okay, it's a good idea. Phil and I were throwing a couple ideas out. We both talked about doubles competition, league or team competition, PWBA league, for example. O'Keefe yet again a four-bagger, and that's that. You mentioned it earlier, Phil. She was coming off the approach with a determined look as Liz Johnson. Don't see her throw that many difficult shots, and especially on the from the spare shooting perspective as well.
4 out of 5 shots, 7 or less for Liz. I don't think I've ever seen that on a score sheet in the history of the reincarnation of the PWBA. And Stephanie Johnson now in trouble, back-to-back open. She's at 1-0 in the 7th, so she's got a 190 max.
Strepo is clean, double, frame 7 and 8. Max score 238. Josie Barnes, 34 pins out, is on a four-bagger after going spare, strike, spare.
And Cote is back to pacing 190. She had a double on the board finally. Tried to get a 3-bagger of it, but once again left a 2-8 in her 7th frame. Needs to hold, needs to hold. Just a hair left at the front part of the lane for Richard. So 226 max with a full ride on the fill for Richard. Cote keeps her chance at 216 alive with a strike in the 8th. But once again, Cote has to come down to 23 and 24 for her final game.
Quality game being bowled here from Kuhlkin. 226 for Jordan Richard.
Big high five between O'Keefe and Richard for that game. It should be a high five, a fist bump, a couple handshakes, a hug. I mean, you throw 2 scores like that on this pair, I'd be celebrating for sure. And Raul Restrepo just goes through the nose in the 9th frame. That's going to let Kuhlkin build on the lead.
What a game to close out for McEwen. Through the back 4 for 212.
Steph Johnson was trying to bounce back. She struck after back-to-back opens, but now ring 10 in the 9th. That's going to leave Johnson with a max in the 160s. Just flat on that 10. Restrepo can max at 200 after the open in the 9th. Geez, every time Brianna Cote has been trying to get momentum again this game after the early open, she rings a 10 pin. Double in the 5th and 6th, now 10 pins on lane 30 in the 7th and 9th. Liz is going for some tape. Johnson, that would be Kuhlkin stepping up.
Restrepo, who was on a double, opened in the 9th. She can throw 3 in the 10th because she just threw the first one. A couple more, she'll be even. 237 for Kuhlkin. She's going to put a little distance between her and Rocio.
That's what champions do, though. They hear those footsteps behind them and they know it's time to get a few more strikes on the board. Kuhlkin does it right there in game 5. Restrepo with a 2-8 on the 11th shot, so 190 will be Restrepo's max.
Quick question about will tonight's show essentially end up on YouTube from us? It won't. But if you can't watch it tonight and you do have CBS Sports Network, there will be there's a really cool replay schedule upcoming for the rest of this month, along with our youth programming, USA Bowling. 2 shows yet to air, U12 and U15. That will start on Tuesday. You'll be able to catch the re-air of the Twin Cities Open following that show.
Cote, another 10-pin first ball, the 10th frame. So the last 6 frames for Cote, 3 strikes, 3 10-pins, and she's going to shoot 185 if she strikes on the fill ball.
I know we've had a lot going on today, folks, but I told you I still wanted to. We still had a few items to give away. And so, having said that, if you're watching during this round last week, told you to go to, last week we used Twitter. We're going to use Twitter again because Twitter was pretty cool last week. Appreciate that. So, the rules are simple. Follow the PWBA Tour, so follow at PWBA Tour. The hashtags you are to use will be Bowl TV Giveaway. The other hashtag will be Twin Cities, as to not confuse it with last week's giveaway. And then I'm going to just make it real simple. I would like to know what you love about the PWBA. And I've eliminated some characters for you by the hashtag, so you can keep it you can keep it simple in that regard. But just tell us why you love the PWBA. Look forward to some really cool answers. Feel free to be creative if you'd like. Choose winners at random, though. But we look at everything, so we appreciate the fans make up, really what we do here. And especially from the live stream perspective, because we get to talk to you, we get to chat with you. In many cases, we get to meet. I just realized Mel Edwards in the chat. I think I met Mel last week, and finally it clicked for me, as an example, of course. So, nonetheless, follow PWBA Tour on Twitter. Use the hashtags BowlTV Giveaway and Twin Cities, and just tell us your favorite thing or things about the PWBA Tour.
Stephanie Johnson's going to finish in the 160s this game. Josie Barnes trying to keep her voice heard. 2:33 in Game 5. And she'll be on our coverage next game. She was in 9th after 20 games. Still hope for Barnes.
Aaron Smith is doing the final tallies. He's going to share that information so we know who and what.
He hasn't kicked the shoes off yet, so we know he's using the calculator. Good thing.
Thanks to have Aaron and Phil, essentially a full crew this week.
Yeah, it's been a great week, and the grinds can be just as exciting when it gets to moments like this as the high-scoring shootouts like they had last week in St. Pete. Because now it's going to be who has to put the 5-bagger together, who can put that 3-bagger together and keep the score sheet clean and get themselves in the top 5.
DMAC is off and running and went Brooklyn on lane 27. So let me give you the update right now. Thanks to AA Ron. Kuhlkin extends her lead. 49 pins. She is at plus 349. Restrepo is at plus 300. In second. In third is Shannon O'Keefe at plus 261. Jordan Richard is fourth at plus 239. And Danielle McEwen is fifth at plus 235. In sixth, Brianna Cote, 36 out at plus 199. And then there is a dip. I would put Liz Johnson at 7th at plus 165. Erin McCarthy 8th at plus 163. 9th be Stephanie. Oh, wait. Sorry about that. I missed one. Kuhlkin 349. Restrepo 300. O'Keefe 261. So 1, 2, 3 is still good. Jordan Richard is 4th at plus 239. McEwen 5th at plus 235. And 6th place is Josie Barnes, I beg your pardon, at plus 213. Cote 7th at plus 199.
And Jordan Richard running into trouble early, 2-4-10 in frame 2, so she's looking at an early open. And Barnes with as hot of a hand as Richard has had the last couple of games.
Already getting a couple responses. As your official entry into this week's Bowl TV giveaway. And some thoughtful responses too, so yeah, thank you. What we got over there, Phil? Is it updated for the folks online?
Not on 21 yet. I don't have an update.
There it is. All right, folks. I just clicked the refresh button as soon as I asked that question, so it should be updated for you as well. After 21. Again, important to note, no bonus pins. And Josie Barnes is going strike, or excuse me, spare strike on 21 and 22. Battle for the top seed. Liz Kuhlkin, who is clean so far, and in fact looks like she was on a double. Just leaves a 3-6.
Wow, Liz Johnson starts with a double 3, 6, 7, 10 in the third. You don't want to say it's a must convert, but at this point in the game,
I would say so.
Yeah.
Josie Barnes nearly ran down the stepladder field in Sonoma. In a very, very similar situation, and she ended up a few pins shy of the number, and she is right there again. East Hartford ran it down as well. Of course, won the championship. And trouble for Cote Big Four. Oh, wow. That was going to go for the Hall of Famer. Didn't see it on camera, but a pin, 2 pins actually, went over to the 9 pin. One was going to knock it down. The other blocked it essentially, gave it the Matumbo, and said, no, standing.
I couldn't get my voice deep enough to actually say no, like Matumbo would. I'd hurt myself in the process.
No, no, no.
It's actually not bad.
All right, Johnson made the spare over on 27.
Jordan Richard looking for her first strike in the 4th frame, and she opened in the 2nd. Jordan Richard goes high again for 3, 6, 9, 10.
In regards to tonight's TV show, as you see, Restrepo again second at plus 300. Tonight, 5 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Central on CBS Sports Network. Be sure to set your DVRs. Good shot from Cote. If you happen to be able to miss it, for whatever reason, it is scheduled to be re-aired on Tuesday night following our USA Bowling U12 show at 8:30 Eastern, or excuse me, 9:30 Eastern in regards to their replay Tuesday.
Huge break for Barnes on the squash. 10 goes late. DMAC, bowler in the 5 spot, clean through 4. Doing what she needs to do right now. Let everybody else catch up. Problem is, for DMAC, Josie Barnes working on a double. And DMAC just goes high.
Boy. Quick update on that re-air schedule. 10 a.m. Eastern. So if you're not busy on Tuesday morning, you'll see the Twin Cities Open on CBS Sports Network and again at midnight.
There used to be a dog racing track near my home in Wisconsin, and the lure's name was Barney, and I was ready to say right there, here comes Barney. Well, you have to go, here comes Barnes. It's Josie Barnes.
Right.
Here comes Barnes.
Well, you know, she's been in this position before this season. She's the only player to shoot 300 this week, and she's not on 23 and 24. All right, Steph Johnson. Did we mention where Steph was? Just want to recap that. Steph is down at 10th at plus 154.
Liz Kuhlkin just opened in the 5th frame, so she's in the 80s right now in the 5th.
McCarthy still with a chance. At 9th at plus 163 and just left the pocket 710.
Just get into the pocket. Can't get them to all fall. Gee, that's been a common occurrence this week. And one of the people that did that, you'll see her coming up next. It's Brianna Cote. Big double in the 4th for Cote. Jordan Richards still hasn't struck through 5 frames, and one of those frames being open.
She is currently 4th if you're scoring at home. Speaking of Jordan Richard.
Good news for Jordan Richard is that Danielle McCune is on that same scoring pace. With 1 open and no doubles. Big trip of the 4-9 for Cote. DMAC was trying to get a double after opening in the 5th, 7th frame weak 10 pin. Great toss by Barnes. Calmly walks back. Calmer than I would be after leaving a 10 pin in that position.
Right now, 2 players have a chance to go back-to-back in regards to shows. Actually, for Liz Kuhlkin, it would be 3 consecutive, and she would be the first player to do that this season. And that is the way that it's going to be. It's a question of what seed she will be.
Shannon O'Keefe not doing anything to damage where she's at on the score sheet right now and in the standings. 1 open and a double through 6, so pacing in the 190s. She keeps filling frames. She'll see action on CBS Sports Network this afternoon.
Just like that.
And that was O'Keefe putting up a double. That's the yelp you heard from the crowd.
You hear from Shannon, letting you know.
Liz Johnson just converts a 4-9 in the 7th frame, but she's going to max out at 2-2-2. Jordan Richards still yet to strike. Another 10-pin for Richard in the 7th frame. Can't get the 4 to fall. And someone's not happy that Liz Johnson just left the 3-6. Back in the crowd. And Liz's chances of advancing tonight are going away quickly.
Big shot for Richard. Restrepo as well. Roll doubles.
So Danielle McEwen's maximum right now is 213 as she steps up in the 8th frame.
Close, Phil.
Yeah, McEwen just stepped up. 8th frame, baby split. 310 she leaves.
All right, Restrepo with a 3-bagger. Oh. And that's just puts a stamp on the day right there.
Kicking them when they're down, it's just not right. And McEwen misses the 310. That's now putting her max at 190. She may be backing her way out the step ladder as both Cote and Barnes making charges here. And Jordan Richard not exactly safe right now either, as she's pacing out 179. Barnes likes it. 10-pin says no. McEwen high again, 4-pin high.
Well, Cote could, and or Barnes could move into the top 5.
Richard just ran that one out in the 9th frame. She still has a possible 209 with a punch in the 10th.
So at the moment, Phil mentioned the max score for Danielle McEwen. That's 180, right?
Correct.
And that would put her at plus 215.
Oh, huge break for Barnes. She left that one left and gets everything to fall on the crossover.
Right.
Jordan Richard, first ball of the 10th. Shreds the rack. And Liz's run officially done for Liz Johnson.
Kuhlkin going to obviously be in, but
she's got one open. It doesn't look like any doubles on there. No, early doubles, so she's in the 190s now. 2 O's if she gets another strike in the 10th. Jordan Richard just left a big 4. Second ball of the 10th, so if she gets 2, she's at 197. Pardon me, 193 if she gets 2. Which Richard does, so that's 193 for Jordan Richard. Great shot there by Cote. And she's waiting on her ball to come back in the new rack, so we'll defer over to Restrepo.
so Jordan Richard unofficially at plus 232 after 193.
Great cover by Restrepo. Shannon O'Keefe. It's going to put her in the 2 teens with the first ball in the 10th. Still 223 possible, so O'Keefe. She can't pass. Yeah, she's not close enough to pass anybody, unfortunately, with the game Restrepo's having. So she's kind of locked into that 3 spot. Big break to take that 7 out for Cote. Leaving just the 3-6-10.
You see Liz Kuhlkin's final down?
I can take a peek. Unofficially 192.
That is Liz Kuhlkin we're talking about.
Danielle McEwen stepping up in her 10th frame and needs all 3 to get 180.
Oh
And
my.
wow. 4-7-10 for McEwen. Looks like it's going to be 2 in, 2 out at the pace this is going. Oh no, 1. No, Jordan Richard. Well, Jordan Richard might not have enough of that 193 at the pace that Cote and
It's up to those two.
Barnes are going.
Disappointing there, I know, for D-Mac. Here is Barnes.
155 was D-Mac's final for those of you at home. And we get interesting once again. It doesn't take series of strikes to keep this interesting.
thing we do know now, Rocio cannot pass Liz Kuhlkin. So Liz will be the #1 seed. Rocio max score of 223.
See if Barnes can stay clutch.
Open for Barnes in the 9th. 211 now max score.
So she can't pass Jordan Richard, but she's passed Danielle McEwen if she's already passed Danielle McEwen with that bad game Danielle had.
Again, no match play here. Players have crossed with each other throughout this round. So Barnes and Restrepo are on this pair of 21 and 22. Again, Kuhlkin has completed the block, finishes with 192 last game, plus 341 for Liz.
If Barnes punches 2 here. She crossed over, left the 5 pin. It's going to leave this all up to Cote.
Well, Jose had a chance. It was in her hands. Let's just make sure we've got Restrepo's going to be in. O'Keefe is going to be in. Jordan Richard. O'Keefe, by the way, a plus 294 unofficially. Or excuse me, plus 284, I beg your pardon. Plus 284. Here is Cote, who came in at plus 199.
She has to double here to get past Barnes. Great first toss. Yeah, they just talked over. Barnes knows count shoes on this last ball. She was just talking over with Josh Blanchard.
Best Josie can do is shoot 201. I would put her at plus 214.
And 222 for Cote. That's the max. 200 on the head for Barnes.
So she's in the books at plus 213.
Yep, Cote needs this. She's going to defer to Restrepo. These are the last 2 players in the building with action.
Cote is a must-strike situation. 5 advance to the step ladder. 1, 2, 3. For the final spot. Here it is.
Left.
It's left. And Josie Barnes is going to be on the step ladder, joining Liz Kuhlkin, Rocio Restrepo, Shannon O'Keefe, and Jordan Richard.
.211, the final for Cote.
Cote will finish at plus 210. Barnes at plus 213. Restrepo completes competition today with 212. She'll be at plus 312. She will be your number 2 seed. Wow.
Doesn't need to be a lot of strikes to be exciting, but it did come down to needing a double in the 10th frame for Brianna Cote to get past Josie Barnes. And how about Barnes catching a big break and a crossover in that final game?
BowlerX.com PWBA Twin Cities Open.
Get the couple of pins she needed to stay in that step ladder.
It's my pleasure to introduce to you your top 5 for the live CBS Sports Network TV step ladder finals. We're going to start with our number 5 seed from Nashville, Tennessee, Josie Barnes. Our opponent in the opening match will be our number 4 qualifier from Tipton, Michigan, Jordan Richards. The advancer of that match will go on to face our number 3 seed from O'Fallon, Illinois, Shannon O'Keefe. The winner of that match will go on to face our number 2 qualifier from Columbia, Rocio Restrepo. The victor of that match will face our tournament leader from Schenectady, New York, Liz Kuhlkin. These are your top 5 athletes for the live CBS Sports Network TV step ladder finals. How about one more big round of applause for all of our competitors? On behalf of Cedar Bell Lanes, the PWBA Tour, thank you all very much for coming out today. We hope to see you this afternoon for the exciting conclusion of the BowlerX.com PWBA Twin Cities Open. Seating will begin at 3 p.m. Coming up next in approximately 30 minutes will be our Fan Fest and Demo Day. So stick around to meet and greet with our lady professionals. Again, seating for our live TV finals will begin at 3 p.m. Good afternoon, everyone. Be safe, be good, and support your sport.
The custom selfie that has become a trademark, essentially, of Shannon O'Keefe when she makes the show. She gets a selfie with her fellow competitors. Dave Ryan already out here, ready to conduct some TV interviews. Again, your final 5, Liz Kuhlkin, 3 consecutive TV appearances for Liz. U.S. Women's Open, St. Petersburg Clearwater Open, and now the BowlerX.com Twin Cities Open. Liz Kuhlkin, Rocio Restrepo, her 2nd stepladder finals appearance of the season, first one on TV this year. Shannon O'Keefe, front runner for Player of the Year, and boy, obviously looking pretty good in that area. Jordan Richard making back-to-back shows, and Josie Barnes looking for her 2nd title as well. What a finale.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, if you're one of those fighting the step ladder right now, I would do whatever I could to get the brain to relax, because it's not that long of a time period, and you know those lanes are going to play tough, and it's on a pair of lanes that was not in use all week long here at Cedar Vale Lanes. So the players only have that short practice session before the TV show to take notes and figure out what they want to do. Time to rest the brain a little bit, no doubt about it, because you can already see some of the exhaustion set on these players' faces.
This is it. Wow. What a show. Big thanks to everyone who tuned in. All of the viewers, again, if you were listening during the round of 12, actually right at the beginning or the end of Game 5, beginning of Game 6, talked about this week's Bowl TV giveaway. Use hashtag Bowl TV giveaway and hashtag Twin Cities. Make sure you are following the PWBA Tour. And then simply just let us know in your tweet what are your favorite things about the PWBA Tour. I want to thank all of our staff this week. To Neil Milligan, Director of Operations, Kathy Kavicki, our merchandise and store run coordinator here, also handles placing our in-center signage. Kathy Wacko has some scoring difficulties, but she worked through them and able to improvise and get some things going for us. Big thanks to Aaron Smith, who's done a great job riding, of course, this week, but on hand to give us some scores as well. Jason McEwen doing his thing. Jason Thomas, of course. Want to thank Phil Brylow. Phil, it's come to an end for you.
Tell you what, it was a good week. I enjoyed every moment of my time here in Eagan, Minnesota. The ladies gutted it out. There's no other way to say it. If you made the show this week, you didn't back into it. You earned it, even with the low scores. And, boy, I'm going to miss this. I'm going to head to Fort Wayne, and I'm going to be thinking about what the ladies have done here. And, unfortunately, hopefully I can get CBS Sports Network at the airport so I can watch the stepladder final, because otherwise I would have loved to hang around and see who comes out on top this week.
Stepladder finals begin at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, 4 p.m. Central on CBS Sports Network. That will do it for us here. I want to thank BowlerX.com, Lee and Chris DeSant, the owners of BowlerX.com, for their sponsorship, and all of the sponsors of the PWBA, GoBowling.com, Nationwide, Pepsi, and Cubica AMF. It's National Bowling Day, folks. Please go bowling, support your sport. Go to GoBowling.com, download your free coupon for a free game of bowling valid through the month of August. My name is Emil Williams Jr. We will see you next week for the Nationwide PWBA Columbus Open, where PTQ competition will begin next Thursday. Again, watch the show tonight. Be on the lookout for some great stuff on social media. Follow us on PWBA Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at PWBA Tour. And finally, big thanks to Brent Prentice, everyone here at Cedarville Lanes, Craig McDonald, Jeff Rue, great job, guys in the back, and bringing out some seat cushions for us. They were much needed. All of the staff here has been phenomenal. Watch the archives on Bowl TV. So one more time for Phil Brylow. Yesterday, Scott Pohl joined us. My name is Emil Williams Jr. Big thanks. We'll see you at CBS Sports Network at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Enjoy your day and go bowling.